I used to work in the film industry, and so we'd hear a lot of, back in the day before the red camera and all,
Oh, that's cool.
they shot with Panavision film, and so you'd have sound that would roll, and then they'd roll, and then they have to check what's called checking the gate, and so that's something you don't hear much anymore if you're working in the film industry, because most of the time you're not even working with film. You're now working with digital video, high def digital video, which is awesome. Anyways, are we rolling?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Okay. So this is, if I'm correct, 6, right? Number 6. And so don't be confused. There will be another number 6 U.S. government already on YouTube that I put up there, okay? And that is from last semester. Don't worry about it. You can watch it. It was certainly informative. It may be better than today's. I don't know how well today's will roll over, but the point of it all being, this one will be labeled 6, and then I'll put spring 2021. That way you don't confuse it, okay? There will be a time where I will assign those past videos for one or more reasons if we miss a class or something. It's like I said, it's not going to change the content. Constitution is the Constitution if I talk about it. Last semester isn't going to change. My views of the Constitution are still the same, thing, okay? So with that being said, I want to discuss a couple things. The book. Who has the book? Who does not have the book? Okay, get the book. I apologize for its price, but I do not make the price of textbooks. Publishers do, and the publishers are going to bilk you out of as much money as they can, and because we are required to have you have a book, then you are required to be bilked. So it's not a bad price. It's not so bad. I don't know. The jury is out with me about the quality of the book. It seems to be a bit thin on details so far as I've read it. It doesn't seem to be very, I was hoping that as I give you the general outline of things, that it would fill in some blanks, but as I read it, it was like not as informative as I'd like. Our last book, I didn't like it because it was an extremely biased book. It read like propaganda, and yet it was good because it did have some good details in it. I thought it was a really good book in that regard. And it also evened things out because I'm biased. Okay, keep that in mind. You're at Houston Baptist University. When you go to a Baptist university, especially one like this, you're going to get theologically conservative people. And when you get theologically conservative people, you tend to get what? Politically conservative people. And if you're going to have politically conservative people, well, then when they read a book that's liberally biased, they're going to go, well, that's not what I believe, okay? And so it's good to get both sides, because what we don't want is to hear the sound of one hand clapping. You want to get both sides. It's kind of like watching MSNBC for your news and not watching, say, One America News, which is a conservative news network, okay? If you watch both, you're like, oh, wow, that's two sides of the same story, and these guys disagree with each other, and you guys can make your own decisions on such things by hearing both sides, if that makes sense, okay? Now, thus far, we've learned a bit about the colonies, talked a little bit about the Mayflower Compact. It's all about, at that point, these people, they create this compact for mutual survival. Without it, they're not going to survive. They get to this new land and they're scared. All right, that's I mean, imagine you get here, there's trees, animals, beasts, and you're hungry, you're cold. Imagine that you're not going to go down to Wendy's, okay? Chick-fil-A is not an option, okay? You're not going to go down to the local pub, you're not going to check into the hotel. You're going to go, how on earth do we survive here in this strange new world? And so they're going to have to do that. And we go from there to the building of the colonies, and then we go up to a point where there's some problems with British rule. The 7 Years War was the French and Indian War, right? And so there's a war in the continent of North America, and Britain racks up huge debts in doing so. And how do you pay your debts? When the government does something, the government has to pay for it, right? Like schools. Y'all went to school growing up. I went to public schools. And of course, my mom and dad didn't send me to private schools because they'd say, oh, well, these ones are free. They're not free, are they? Who pays for them?